Hey, my hairline's a mess. What's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite movies. And again, I'll say it again. List week will happen tonight. It'll happen tonight. I'm sure of that. Anyways, I am going to do a quick movie review on Black Swan, a movie that I watched uh, yesterday, actually, this morning, technically, after midnight, when everybody was asleep in the dark because, what's a better time to watch a horror movie than in the middle of the night? So, Black Swan is a movie directed by Darren Aronofsky, whom you may have known for movies like Pie, and of course, the very trippy and aggressive and vulgar drug filled Requiem for a Dream. But then we have Black Swan, and I think Black Swan might be his finest work yet. I'm also counting Mother, which is a movie that's released later, and it's super polarizing because some people thought it's bullshit, some people thought it's great and meaningful. Anyways, he isn't the guy who wrote Black Swan, but I think whoever wrote Black Swan is also a pretty great writer, and I hope he would write something similar in the future, or maybe something different, but with just as much quality. Anyway, Black Swan is about an adolescent woman named Nina, played by Natalie Portman. Brilliant portrayal, amazing performance. You totally didn't see this coming when you were watching Attack of the Clones, did you? But yeah, Nina, she's a ballerina and she wants to be perfect at dancing, and she wants to be the Swan Queen for the newest Swan Lake dance performance. But in order to do that, she needs to play two roles in the same dance: the White Swan, which she already embodies perfectly right off the bat. I mean, the fragile, sweet, angelic, but also afraid and innocent White Swan. But here's the problem: she also needs to portray the Black Swan, which is pretty much the opposite of the White Swan. The Black Swan is just very seductive and loose and violent and menacing and malevolent. So she needs to embody both characters. So whenever she's dancing as the Black Swan, her dance teacher, played by Vincent Cassell, would be disappointed because obviously Nina couldn't lose herself to be the Black Swan. And so we have the movie. And the competition is really strong as well because all the other dancers in the dancing academy also wants to be the Swan Queen, especially for Lily, played by Mila Kunis, who actually embodies the Black Swan very well. I mean, she in real life is basically the Black Swan. She takes drugs, drink, has sex with random men, and she's always very happy, very light-hearted, and very, fuck the rules. I do whatever I want kind of person. And so this movie is about Nina's journey towards perfection. And first of all, I want to say that I should be able to relate to this a lot because, I'm an Asian student, and even though admittedly my parents don't really push me all that much when it comes to academics, I push myself because seeing all the people around me sort of exceed me, being better than me, it legit stresses me out. Like, I need to be at least average if I have to be okay with myself. But I guess right now I'm not as competitive as I used to be because I am starting to realize that there are more things in life other than like good grades. And anyways, I should be able to relate to this because we're striving for perfection. We need to be as good as possible. And in this movie, Nina is experiencing pressure from all sides, even from her own mother. And I really like that she just feels pressured and stressed wherever she goes. Even when she's alone, she would start seeing visions, hearing things. She would start going insane because of the high pressure. And if I hadn't said this yet, this movie is actually a horror movie, or more like a thriller, but also horror, I guess, ish. Psychological horror. But this movie isn't a straight up horror movie. It's also a drama that sort of brings a bit of horror, especially towards the end where it just gets super scary. Which leads to another thing that I really like about the movie is that we get to see Nina lose her sanity. Because in order to be perfect, she needs to be bad. She needs to lose herself. And in the movie, she really tries to actually, literally lose herself. Like, lose her humanity and stop being Nina. Totally become someone else or something else. I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm sure everybody has seen it already. She literally becomes a swan at the end of the movie, and she's not Nina the girl anymore. She's literally the black swan at the end. She was growing feathers, and her eyes would turn red, and she would just go absolutely insane. She would lose humanity. But that's what you need to do in order to strive for perfection, is that you need to defy humanity, because nothing can be perfect in this world. So if you want to be actually perfect, you need to defy humanity and also defy morality and sort of destroy every interpersonal relationship and connection you have, because you cannot be human anymore. And that's very extreme, but it's very beautifully and sickeningly portrayed in this movie. And I mean, let's talk about the technical stuffs first. The performances, amazing. I think Vincent Cassel's great, and of course Natalie Portman delivered one of the best performances I've seen in years. And the music, it's very orchestral, and when it loses sanity, the music loses its sanity as well, loses its control, and it's frightening sometimes. The cinematography, while I don't think it's the best in the world, it's still very impressive. There are some really fast scenes, especially when the dancing is taking place. The camera just spins and spins and spins, and it's really well shot. And also a lot of mirrors in this movie, because this movie is about duality. It's about white swan, black swan. Is it really you, or do you want to be the secret, hidden, evil you? So there are a lot of mirrors in the movie. And here's the thing about mirrors. So if you put a camera in front of a mirror, you're gonna see the friggin' camera. However, in this movie, you cannot see any cameras. That's brilliant. Maybe they have erased the camera frame by frame. Maybe they used green screen. I don't know, but whatever they did, impressive. Impressive AF. Anyways, I guess I shouldn't really be comparing this movie to Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket and Damien Chazelle's Whiplash, but I guess I have to, because these three movies almost share a similar meaning, or more like a similar undertone to them, and that is, if you want to be perfect, you need to sacrifice some other elements in your life. And it's a movie about how perfection is actually not that good. But yeah, if I have one gripe with this movie, it would be that it isn't intense enough. Now I know this movie can be really scary, it can be really insane, but I feel like me, when I'm watching Whiplash, the tension is higher. It's way more violent, because every single person in the world of Whiplash just hates the main character, except for like the main character's dad. But in this movie, while yes, none of the other characters here really like and support Nina, uh, I feel like people are friendlier to Nina than people are friendlier to Andrew in Whiplash. I just wish the pressure would have been higher, and Nina would have been way more mistreated. I want to see her co-dancers just bullying her, hating her, and saying that she's not good enough. And I want to see Lily saying that she's not good enough, laughing at her, laughing at how she's so innocent and young and being a virgin. And yeah, speaking of which, there's even a lesbian scene between Mila Kunis and Natalie Portman. Gotta check it out. And shut up, Meg. Yeah. Other than that small gripe with the movie, I thought this movie is fantastic, near perfection. Let's talk about the scary parts of the movie. When they get scary, they get scary. I mean, this is one of the few horror movies in the 2010s that actually successfully get to me. And yeah, there are scares in this movie that just pops up in the frame, but they're not really jump scares. They're just because they're far in the distance and they don't feel as threatening. But what really is scary about the movie is that when Nina's losing her sanity, she can't even tell what's real and what's not anymore. And same goes for us. It's kind of confusing. It's like when we are watching Mr. Robot, we sort of don't know what's real and what's not anymore. It could be a vision, it could be real, no one knows. And the climax scene towards the end, it's just a huge confrontation between is it real? Is it really real? Is it really happening? Or come on, it's just a vision. It's just a vision. It's not real. It's fake. And it's just this really just co- confrontation between reality and I guess insanity. And I really appreciate that. And yeah, there are elements of body horror in this thing, like nails coming off, rashes, scratches, and they're all really gross, very disgusting. But they're not gross for the gross. They're gross in order to show that perfection is actually terrible. But it doesn't do that straightforwardly. It shows you that if you want to be perfect, you're going to be ugly, you're going to be broken in the inside, you're going to be spiritually rotten and fermented, and you're gonna not be human anymore. And these scares in this movie, they're really effective. So yeah, overall, I think this is legitimately one of my favorite movies of the decade. I don't think it is the best movie of the decade though, because it's not as grand or as ambitious or as interestingly shot or as extremely intense as a couple other movies, but still, I think it's a really great movie, and I'm honestly feeling a strong 9 to a 10, maybe, like almost, maybe between a strong 9 and a 10. I'm just gonna put this movie at a very light 10. Yeah. So, have you watched Black Swan from 1 to 10? How much did you rate it? Like if you like it, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. Also, if you're wondering, I have given 5 movies that came out this decade. 5 movies, a 10. And feel free to figure out, but I'm not going to spoil it because I will come out with the best movies of the decade list in the beginning of 2020.